Christmas Eve today, and as a departure from most of the content of Roach Reflections, I wanted to quickly tell you about what happened getting on for 40 years ago in the days when I used to go out fishing for roach on Christmas Day. Back then, I was young, free and single, and I had the freedom to go out and fish Christmas Day without anyone saying, "Your dinner's in the dog," or "I'm in the doghouse." Back then, Wareham Quay was fishing well for roach, but not every year. It could be patchy. I didn't used to start fishing the quay until the end of most of the matches, which was about mid-December. Rarely caught much on there before the end of November, and the big roach didn't show every time. So to get lucky on Christmas Day, pretty much year after year, was quite something. The first year was 1980. I went down there, caught 3 roach over £2. Fairly straightforward, a good catch. I'd had a decent roach the day before, and that was pretty good. That was a good start. The following year was a bit different. I went down there at first light, which was about 7:30 in the morning on these very short days. And at about 8 o'clock it started to rain heavily. And I thought to myself, do I really want to spend Christmas Day all on my own on Wareham Quay in the pouring rain? It was chucking it down, not windy. This is going to be miserable. Do I really want to catch a fish that much? And the tide wasn't very good. It was sort of standing, rising maybe. So I went home, had Christmas dinner, and thought no more of it. And then I watched some Christmas film in the afternoon, and that finished at about 3:30. And as it finished, I looked out the window and I thought, that's brightening up. That rain stopped. Maybe, living just 5 minutes away from the quay, I can get down there and get in 3/4 of an hour before the sun sets, before the light goes completely. And so I went down there and I fished for that 45 minutes. After half an hour, I had 3 or 4 flounders, maybe a trout. And then at 4:25, bingo, a 2.7 roach. What a cracker. So I'd done it 2 years on the trot. The following year, things took a different turn. The week up to Christmas, this was about 1982, I suppose, I'd had flu, proper flu. Off work for a week, in bed, too weak to get out. My appetite had disappeared. And then with about a day to go, I felt a lot better. I was fine, but my appetite hadn't come back. So instead of having Christmas dinner, I just didn't have the appetite for it at all. I could eat something, but not a full dinner. So I went down to the quay in perfect conditions, and I started to catch good roach. And as the tide went out, it was pretty low. I hooked a very big fish, but this was no roach. This was the first carp I ever caught down there. Having gone under the bridge upstream, it then turned round and went down below the granary, with me following and holding on for dear life, hoping it wouldn't keep going. With about 40 yards of line out and me unable to follow it anymore, it did turn, went promptly back under the bridge. But eventually it came out just over £5, a feisty common carp. But that day I had the club scales with me, and I ended up with 5 roach over £1.5. And because I had the club scales and one of my mates was there, he wouldn't let me be dishonest about the weights. And the biggest went £1.15.5. So it wasn't quite a £2 that year. That was the most big roach I ever caught on Christmas Day down there. But a near miss that year. The following year was one of the normal years in a way. I think I fished the towpath in the morning. I had about £10 a dace, but the tide must have been right in the afternoon because I got another £2 roach. So sort of 2 sessions split very differently. The final year, the 5th year, I fished on the quay and I got my 2 pound roach without too much trouble. But at that time the quay was fishing very, very well. That was 84 going into 85, and the back end of that season had some tremendous catches of big roach. And just a week later I got 6 roach over 2 pounds for close on 15 pounds. So up to, I think they were up to 214, one of my best ever catches of really big roach. Something like six real crackers and 3 little tiddlers of about an ounce. So that was Christmas Day all those years ago. After that year I never managed a 2 pound roach again on Christmas Day, and it's been many, many years since I last fished on Christmas Day. The following year I think I ended up fishing under the A31 at Ringwood, where they were reputed to be big roach, but the conditions were wrong, and one thing and another, nothing much happened. Caught a few small dace and roach. Hope you've enjoyed this brief video. Please click like and subscribe. There's a lot more to come on Roach Reflections, and I'd just like to wish you a happy Christmas and a happy new year. Perhaps 2021 will be a far better year than 2020, and maybe we can get back to normal. Thanks for watching.